Imagine the unthinkable. A courtroom packed with tension, where two smug, racist cops hurl insults at a black man on trial, laughing at his fate, completely oblivious that he's not just any defendant, he's the undercover director of the FBI, about to flip the script on corruption that reaches the highest levels. If you're in the USA or UK, where stories of injustice and epic comeuppance hit home amid ongoing fights for equality and accountability, this tale will grip you from the first line. Hit that subscribe button now for more mind-blowing narratives that expose hidden truths and deliver justice. Don't miss out. Subscribe today and join the thousands uncovering the real stories behind the headlines. In the dimly lit courtroom of downtown Atlanta, where the air hung heavy with the scent of polished wood and stale coffee, Officer Harlan Brooks and his partner, Officer Derek Malone, sat in the back row, their uniforms crisp but their smirks even sharper, whispering crude jokes about the black man standing trial before them. "Look at him, thinks he's hot stuff in that cheap suit," Harlan muttered, his voice laced with venom, probably stole it from some welfare queen's closet. Derek chuckled, his eyes narrowing as he added, "Yeah, and now he's gonna fry for that drug bust we nailed him on. Serves him right, these types always think they're above the law." Little did they know, the man they mocked, Elijah Grant, with his poised demeanor and unyielding gaze fixed on the judge, was no ordinary suspect. He was the director of the FBI, operating deep undercover to dismantle a web of police corruption that had plagued the city for years, a secret so tightly guarded that even the prosecutor had no inkling of his true identity. Elijah had orchestrated this entire charade, allowing himself to be arrested on fabricated charges to infiltrate the very system he aimed to purge, his sharp mind cataloging every slur, every procedural violation, as evidence for the federal takedown that was brewing just beyond the courtroom doors. As the trial unfolded, the prosecution painted Elijah as a notorious drug lord, flashing grainy photos and witness testimonies that were as phony as the badges on the corrupt cops' chests. But Elijah remained silent, his handcuffs a temporary prop in a play where he held the director's chair. Harlan and Derek, emboldened by the apparent slam dunk case, continued their mockery during breaks, high-fiving in the hallway and boasting to fellow officers about how they'd caught the big fish, unaware that Elijah's team was monitoring every word through hidden devices, building a dossier that would expose not just their racism but a syndicate involving dirty money from drug cartels funneled through the precinct. The first twist came when a key witness, a jittery informant named Rico, took the stand. He was supposed to bury Elijah with lies about a massive cocaine shipment, but under the defense attorney's subtle probing, carefully scripted by Elijah himself, Rico cracked, admitting the evidence was planted by Harlan and Derek to cover their own tracks in a protection racket. The courtroom gasped, but the judge, sensing something amiss, called for a recess, during which Harlan cornered Rico in the bathroom, threatening him with a growl, "You mess this up, and you'll end up like the last snitch, floating in the Chattahoochee." Unbeknownst to Harlan, Elijah had anticipated this, and the encounter was captured on audio, feeding directly into the FBI's command center where agents mobilized for the impending raid. As proceedings resumed, Elijah's lawyer introduced new evidence, a USB drive supposedly from an anonymous source, revealing tampered body cam footage where Harlan and Derek were seen planting drugs in Elijah's car during the arrest, their laughter echoing as they high-fived over, "Another one bites the dust." The officers' faces drained of color, but they doubled down, storming the witness stand in a fit of rage, shouting slurs at Elijah, "You think you can outsmart us, boy? We'll make sure you rot," only for the bailiff to restrain them, the judge banging her gavel in fury. In that chaotic moment, Elijah stood tall, his voice calm as he requested to address the court, revealing his badge hidden beneath his shirt, the gleaming FBI director insignia stunning the room into silence. "Your Honor, I am Director Elijah Grant of the Federal Bureau of Investigation," he declared, his words slicing through the tension like a blade, and this trial was a sting operation to expose systemic racism and corruption within this department. Pandemonium erupted, reporters scrambled, phones buzzed with breaking news alerts across the USA and UK, where headlines screamed of the scandal rocking American law enforcement. Harlan and Derek were arrested on the spot, their mocking grins replaced by sheer terror as federal agents swarmed the building, cuffing not just them but the precinct chief and several others implicated in the racket. But the twists didn't end there. As Elijah debriefed his team later that night in a secure bunker, an encrypted message arrived from an unknown source, hinting that the corruption extended to Washington insiders, including a senator who'd been pulling strings to protect the cartel ties. Elijah's eyes narrowed. This wasn't over, it was just the beginning of a larger hunt. Months later, under the cover of a stormy evening in London, where Elijah had flown to coordinate with MI6 on international leads, he uncovered that Derek Malone wasn't just a racist cop but a double agent for a UK-based smuggling ring, using his position to launder money through transatlantic channels. The revelation led to a high-stakes chase through the foggy streets of Westminster, where Elijah, disguised once more, confronted Derek in an abandoned warehouse, the officer pleading for mercy with tears in his eyes. "I didn't know it went this deep, I was just following orders." But Elijah, unmoved, signaled the waiting Interpol team, watching as Derek was hauled away, his empire crumbling. Back in the USA, Harlan's trial became a media circus, with civil rights activists protesting outside the courthouse, chanting for justice, while Elijah testified, his story inspiring a nationwide reform bill that mandated body cams and anti-bias training for all officers. Yet, in a final gut-wrenching twist, Elijah discovered that his own deputy director had been the mole leaking his undercover status, motivated by jealousy and a hidden alliance with the cartel, leading to a tense showdown in the FBI headquarters where Elijah, gun drawn, forced a confession that saved his life but shattered his trust in the Bureau. Retiring to a quiet life in the countryside, Elijah penned a memoir that topped bestseller lists in the USA and UK, a testament to resilience against bigotry, reminding the world that true power lies not in mockery but in unyielding truth. Years on, the case remained a landmark, with Harlan and Derek serving life sentences, their names synonymous with fallen hubris, while Elijah's legacy endured as a beacon for equality, proving that even in the darkest trials, justice could prevail with cunning and courage. Word count: 1023.